MicroTorrent is a program that you can use to download torrent files that contain the Wii games you want to play. Torrents work by dividing the file into chunks found on a number of different hosts. Torrents make downloading large files such as Wii games more quickly. So if you want some Wii games and you want to download them from the web, use MicroTorrent. When downloading torrents, there should always be at least one seeder, and that seeder has the complete download of the file you want, and in this case a Wii game, and is uploading the Wii game for leechers. Leechers are the people downloading the file, or Wii game in this case, and uploading what they have of the Wii game for everyone else. Seeders upload for the leechers. When you download a torrent, you're first a leecher, and you're just downloading the Wii game, but you're also uploading what you have of that Wii game onto the web for different leechers. But once a torrent finishes, you become a seeder and you upload the entire Wii game for different leechers. So, since torrenting uses a lot of bandwidth from your internet connection, you usually want to leech, and you're going to be leeching for a while because torrents usually take a long time. But while you're leeching, you usually don't want to do anything on the internet besides doing the torrent, so the torrent can make faster, and it's using more of your bandwidth, so everything will run slow on the internet. Anyone using your internet connection will see noticeably slower speeds, and you usually just want to pick a time when not a lot of people are using the internet, and you can just leave that torrent running to get the Wii game you want. So downloading torrents is pretty good to get Wii games. When you download Wii torrent files, you'll get this ISO file which will contain the Wii game. It's usually about 4 gigs and maybe less, maybe more, but it has to be 1 gig. It has been the lowest Wii game file that I've ever seen. So 1 gig and more should be your aim. And if it's not in an ISO file, it'll usually be in a .zip extension file or compressed files that you'll have to extract with WinRAR or WinZip to get the ISO file. And sometimes you even might get a WBFS file, and you can use a program to just add that directly into your USB storage device. So if you want Wii games and if you want to add them to a USB storage device such as an external hard drive or a flash drive, then the best way to get those Wii games is to torrent them. So you want to go to this website called www.utorrent.com. The U actually stands for MicroTorrent, but they couldn't have the micro symbol in the website. Now, on this website, there's a bunch of different things you can do. You can search Get Started to see a little bit of what you can do with torrenting. You can search the web for torrents, then you download, click to grab the torrent in your browser, and then you open up the torrent, and you're good to go. Now, this program, MicroTorrent, is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux, so everyone can use it. The system requirements are very low, as it says over here, and basically, as I said before, everyone can use it. So we're going to go to the downloads, products, MicroTorrent free, and I'll leave the link in the description, so don't you worry. Now we're over here. It shows some description about MicroTorrent, and then you can just go to free download. And what you want to do is select Windows, Mac, or Linux for whatever operating system you have and download the file. And now you just save it and you just wait until it's done. Now you want to open it and run it. So it brings you over here. You click next, next, accept, next. Now I usually don't want it starting when Windows starts up, so I always uncheck that. And then I always uncheck all these ads. Uncheck this. Don't set your home page to MicroTorrent. Decline this. I accidentally accepted it, but decline it if it pops up. And just install it. So it's a very quick install and it'll pop up right away. Now we want to go to google.com and search our torrent by typing in the game name followed by torrent. Now you'll see a couple of torrent sites that you can go to. cat.ph is a trustworthy site, and the piratebay.se is a trustworthy site. And now after selecting the torrent site that you want to go to, you need to check the seeders and leechers. And usually I do this following a ratio. Better seeder to leecher ratio is good. So a 2-to-1 ratio is something that I normally look for. But if there are a ton of seeders and a lot of leechers, like in this case, and even though it's a 1-to-1 ratio, I'm kind of fine with that because there are a lot of seeders. So seeders are good, less leechers are good. Now you also want to check the comments to see if it's a trustworthy torrent. Since this person said thanks, game works fine, I'm pretty sure that's a trustworthy torrent. So I'm gonna get this torrent, and if this pops up, you just want to launch your application. And over here, it'll have this thing. You can leave it by default and press OK. Now it's gonna start downloading the torrent. Downloading the torrent takes a very long time. It could take up to a day and even longer depending on how much seeders and leechers. If you have a smaller game file and there is a better seeder to leecher ratio, like a 2-to-1 ratio, you can expect to get the game within an hour. So see, this download speed is pretty slow, and I already have this game, so I'm just gonna delete it. You can delete the torrent once it's done and just press OK. Now you always want to exit MicroTorrent every time you're done. So now you want to get this WBFS Manager, which will allow you to add an ISO file into your USB storage device. Now over here, it only supports Windows 7, Windows XP, and Windows Vista, so you must have Windows. If you run into any problems, run as an administrator, but up here you can download it. There's a 64-bit version and a 32-bit version. I have a 64-bit operating system, so I'm gonna get the second download. Now it's a compressed file that's in a .zip extension file, so you need a program called WinRAR or WinZip to extract it. Down here I found it in my downloads file, and I'm gonna extract it. Now I'm gonna go into the folder and run the setup. Go next, accept the agreement, press next, press next, press next, and install it. Now WBFS Manager will appear on your desktop, and you can go to your desktop to open it up. You'll get this message sometimes and you can just cancel it out. And now I'm gonna find it. It's right over here. I'm gonna double click it to open it up. A new update is available, but this one works just fine. Okay, so now once you have the WBFS Manager, you can check for your ISO file that you just downloaded with MicroTorrent. You want to have one of these external hard drives or USB flash devices so you can add your Wii games onto an external hard drive or USB flash device. These external hard drives can be as big as you want, but remember, each Wii game is usually 4 gigabytes, so you want to buy an external hard drive that can hold enough Wii games that you might want to use. And so right now you want to bring your external hard drive to your computer so you can start adding some Wii games to external hard drive using WBFS Manager. So before we do that, we want to check on our start, documents, and downloads, finding our ISO file that we just downloading using MicroTorrent. So over here, just stands for, right over here, I'm going to double click it to find an ISO file, but sometimes for torrents they don't have it as convenient as you see it here. Sometimes for these torrents they have a bunch of compressed files or .zip files, and you want to highlight all of them, every single one, and extract them by right clicking and extract here at the same time. So once you do that, you'll get your ISO file that you want, and you'll be good to go. So now what we want to do is we want to get our USB storage device and plug it into our computer. As you can see, my USB storage device is plugged in. I already have some Wii games already on my USB storage device, but let's open up WBFS Manager, refresh the drive list, and now if you have a new USB storage device that you want to be wiped out clean, what you want to do is you want to go to Start, right click Computer, and Manage. Now once you get into this place, you want to format that drive because you want to make that drive into a WBFS format. So first you format over here, and since my drive already has stuff inside it, I won't format it, but I'll tell you what to do. You just right click on your drive that you want Wii games on, and you want it completely empty, so back up any files you have, and you want to format it to NTFS. So over here, if I press OK, it would format it, but I'm not going to do that because I want to keep my Wii games. And then right on WBFS Manager, what you want to do is select your drive. My drive is on G, and then you want to format it. Then you press yes, but mine is already with Wii games, so I don't want to erase everything. But after you format it to WBFS, you should be able to load it, and then you can browse on your computer and add a Wii game like I'm doing right now. So you select your Wii game, and then what you want to do is you add to drive. So depending on how big the Wii game and what USB storage device you're using will determine the amount of time it takes, but usually it just takes 5 minutes to add a Wii game onto your USB storage device. So I'll speed this up and I'll come back. Okay, so now it's done. It says completed adding, then okay, then you can X this out, and then you can take out your USB storage device. So now over here, if you want WiiWare or Virtual Console games, you can go to this website. I'll leave a link of these websites in the description. But here is a Virtual Console website, and I just put my SD card in. So now what you want to do is you can select any system, like a NES, Super NES. I'm gonna go with that. And the Virtual Console games are region specific. So from what you can see, NTSC-U is for North American Wiis. So that's my type of Wii, so I'm gonna try to find a game for it. Let's see. Let's try this. By the way, some of these links, right, they don't work anymore. So what you can also do as an alternative is you can always check Google. Just search up the name of the game you want, the region that you want the game in, and just WAD after everything. Because what we're going to do is we're going to find a WAD file, and then we're going to just install the WAD, and then we'll have the game on our Nintendo Wii. So I finally found one that works, Street Fighter game, and it brought me to this website, so I need to wait a couple seconds to get the game. But I'm going to speed this up, so right now I'll speed it up. Okay, so back. Let's see, 3 seconds left to download. It took about 2 minutes to get this running. I'm gonna have to type these words in. Okay, now slow download. I'm gonna save this file. So this download seems like it's gonna take a while. It's about 22 megabytes, so I'm just gonna speed this up again. So on this website, these are the WiiWare game website that you can get the WiiWare games. And in the front of this website, you have to pick which region your Nintendo Wii is. So I'm going to pick NTSC-U because my Wii is North American Wii. So there's a list of games over here if you ever want WiiWare games. And over here for the Wii channel, you can just You go over here if you want any Wii channels. You know, there's a couple channels that you can get, and then you can just download it. It's also region specific again, like WiiWare games or Virtual Console games. So you have to pick the correct one for your region, and then you just click and go download the WAD file. So the download's done for Super Street Fighter 2. Go to Documents, Downloads. That's where it usually is, and it's saved as a WAD file. So I'm just gonna copy that Super Street Fighter WAD file, and then I put my SD card in. So I'm gonna go to WADs. It should be in the folder WADs, right? You go to WADs, and then you just paste that Virtual Console game into the WADs file. So then it's pasted in. Now you can eject your SD card and bring your SD card back into your Wii. So right clicking this SD card, then I'll eject it and then bring it back to my Nintendo Wii. So on this website is gonna help a lot of people out, because some people tell me, oh, for one of their games it just turns black, or there are some problems with the game, or like their game won't work, or it's black and white. Well, on this website, it'll show you how games have been reacting to USB loaders. And in the notes, it says like, oh, you need to turn on 002 fix, or anti something it has to be turned on, or you need to force the video to NTSC and force it to PAL something. And this has like almost every single Wii game on here, and it shows the reaction of the USB loader in the notes, because people have tested these games. They've written down what happens when they play the game, and they have written down what you have to do to make the game work. So this website is really useful if you ever come up with a black screen or a black and white screen. Number one, the game could be faulty, or number two, your USB storage device is overheating, or number three, it's one of these problems that are written down in the notes, and people say, oh, like, what's the problem usually? And they say, oh, you need to turn this thing on your USB loader, or this thing on USB loader. So I don't usually have any problems with games on my Nintendo Wii, but if I do, I just go to this website, see what I have to turn on, and then I'm all good. So I'll leave this link in the description. Okay, now we're back on our Nintendo Wiis, and I've just put in my SD card, and I've turned on my USB loader, USB storage device, and plugged it into port 0 of my Nintendo Wii. Port 0 is the bottom port of the Nintendo Wii. And now, first thing we want to do, we want to go to Multi-Mod Manager, and we want to load it up, because we want to install that Street Fighter game that I just got, which was on a Virtual Console game. So you go to WAD Manager, then WADs, and then you find the WAD of the game that you want. So it should be named Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter, right there. Then you press A. Then you press A to just install that WAD, because you don't have to install all the WADs again. So it's going to be installing. It's pretty quick. And then if it says OK, then it installed successfully, and it should appear on your Wii menu. So I'm going to press B, 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 then Home to return to the Homebrew channel. And then after I return to the Homebrew channel, I press Home. And then I exit to System Menu. So after that's done, I'm going to see if I got the Super Street Fighter 2 game. So let's see. Okay, at the right, let's see, a little bit of lag. Okay. So there's this Super Street Fighter 2 game, and start it up. And see, it seems to be working. I don't have a classic controller. I just chose this game randomly. But if it appears on your Wii menu, it's probably going to work. And it will be good. So now I'm gonna go to USB Loader GX to show you some of the things that I usually do on USB Loader GX. I plugged in my USB storage device, seems to be working, and now USB Loader GX initializes. So first thing you can do is you look at all your games. It has the name of all your games, and then you can scroll up or down, and you can just select any game you want and just play it. So there is you can do a cover download if you click on the left side, and you can, if you have internet connection, you can download the images on. So here's the game that I just added, Just Dance 4 Special Edition. You can go, what you want to do is you go to settings, then you go into your no, not your hard drive settings. You can go to your loader settings, and what you want to do is you want to do video mode and change it. If you're using a North American Wii, you want to do Force NTSC. If you're using a European Wii, you want to do Force PAL 60. But I'm on a North American Wii, so I am gonna do Force NTSC. And if you're using a Japanese Wii, you do Force NTSC. So you can update, but I wouldn't suggest to update. Sometimes the files go weird when you update. But let's see Just Dance 4, and let me start it up. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna start Just Dance 4 to make sure it works. If it works, then that means that it is a success. And Just Dance 4, I downloaded the PAL version, so if I didn't force NTSC, it would have turned black and white. So it booted up, and let's see, I'm gonna do no on this. Okay, let's see, Just Dance. I'm gonna just check all the songs. It seems like it's not freezing up. It seems like it's all good. So that means it's a success. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the Wii menu and show you configurable USB loader. And there are a couple things that I usually do before anything. So let's see. Now I go to USB loader CFG, start it up, and now it's gonna recognize my USB storage device. Yep, okay. So now here are all the games. Now what you want to do is you want to go to settings, and then you can always change up the settings a little bit on here. You can always update your update it from here too. Change the style view. So okay, now you can go back, and now you can select a game. I'm gonna show you what happens for Wii Motion Plus games. So if you never played a Wii Motion Plus game, this is what you should do, because it won't work unless you've seen the Wii Motion Plus thing. So you Alt DOL and change it to player.dol, and then start it up, and then it'll bring you to the Wii Motion Plus instructional video. And what you want to do is you want to watch it. The Wii Sports Resort game that I downloaded was in Japanese. Yeah, in Japanese. So when I opened up the player.dol file, it is in Japanese. So it'll be in English probably if you open up just a regular game that is Wii Motion Plus required. And you have to watch that instructional Wii Motion Plus video, because the game won't work unless you do. And if you've never played a Wii Motion Plus game, you need to watch that Wii Motion Plus video. So just change that Alt DOL to player.dol, then change it back to the regular thing after you've watched it. So let's go back to Wii Motion No, Sports Resort. Okay, now Alt DOL, you change it back to off. Then block iOS reload. If a game's not working, and if it's a Wii Motion Plus game, you usually want block iOS reload on. Then you force NTSC if it's one of those foreign games. And then anti-002 fix on. So most games, if it doesn't work the first time, you want to turn anti-002 fix on, and then you just change that the region to force NTSC, and then you do the other change that I told you about, and then it should start working like so. So Wii Sports Resort is working. I don't have my Motion Plus right now, so I can't play it, but it seemed to be working. There was no black screen, so everything is good. So thanks for watching, everyone. That's basically it, because I've shown you USB loader, MicroTorrent, and how to add Wii Shop Channel games. So if this helped you at all, please rate, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I do more videos in the future. But it takes some time to do these videos. So thanks for watching, everyone.